Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. If you want to be a part of this tech conversation, you must find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za on email. You can also hashtag SABC Network. Here's what's coming up in the program. TEDx Johannesburg silent speakers discussed how new technologies can help in the farming sector. Samsung has launched its new flagship device in South Africa. And we discuss copyright of content we share online. Intellectual property attorney Maxwell Nazianya is in the studio for that one. Hello and welcome to Network.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Do most people understand these copyright laws?
They actually don't, and I think it's more out of ignorance than anything else.
All right, we'll have a deeper discussion about that later in the program. First, here's your social media and technology news. Now, Hacking the Farm was this year's TEDx Johannesburg Salon theme. Speakers shared their experiences of how tech helps in the farming sector. Land is a big discussion in South Africa. It's no wonder then that farming became a topic of the recent TEDx Johannesburg Salon. Hacking the Farm was the theme.
The next big thing in technology is agriculture. It's biology. It's how we manipulate DNA, how we get to play a role in the development of biological systems. And agriculture is right in that space.
Some spoke about smartphone applications.
We got mobile apps that connects the owners of cattle to the farm. We're building proprietary technology for even being able to track the cows remotely, so that you are far away in Johannesburg and your farm is in Durban. You're still able to be able to on your phone see that, okay, everything is fine, and the farm is able to give you feedback on its performance. Then you're able to monitor the progress of your investment.
Others spoke about the tech that helps when they're getting their hands dirty on the farm.
I grow hydroponics, and this is soilless farming where I feed my animals. Just in 6 days, I have food for my animals. Then I do aquaponics. Again, that is fish and plants. So the water that comes from the fish goes through the plants and I get enough food. And then I also use vermiculture where I play with pig dung to produce food for the chickens and fish.
Because the topic is farming technology, organizers decided to host this at Timologong Precinct, Johannesburg's new tech area in town.
It's part of that dream of bringing technology and technological innovation into Braamfontein. And that's what Timologong does. We incubate startups in the technological and digital innovation field and get them to the next level where they're able to go to market and get their businesses up and running. We are hosting TEDx because TEDx is one of those talks that are so important to have on your CV. It's so good to be hosting a TEDx because they bring in some of the best speakers on any one topic and bring to bear all the crystallization of all the best ideas in the world.
Speakers came from different parts of Africa. At the IAB Digital Summit, the conversation was on online spaces in the marketing industry. Some feel tech can help improve the pace of transformation in this particular sector.
Those in the marketing and advertising space at the AIB Digital Summit in Kyalami say transformation of their industry is what is still needed.
I think it's important now for a number of things. I think that the narrative around the black consumer has reached a tipping point. The black consumer is asserting itself as a group of individuals. Females in the context of the world and the direction everything is going has taken a completely different turn. And I think just the people you're speaking about that have got the commercial dollar to spend are different to what they were previously. If you use Black Panther as an example, they shattered box office records within 4 days. And that is typically the dollars that are being spent by this consumer group that you've pretty much not paid much attention to and you've treated with disrespect over all these years.
Some say they have solutions that can use tech to assist with skills that can transform the sector.
It's no secret that South Africa's advertising industry is in dire need of transformation, So that's why Digify Africa and Google came together to then create something that would, allow more black creatives and black young people to be taught these core skills in order to gain access into the industry, but then also to address the skills shortage when it comes to digital in the industry.
Organizers say they host the event to hear what many players in the sector have to say.
To build knowledge for our members of publishers, agencies, brands, educators, ad tech, people who are moving in the digital space, to give them on-trend information about what's happening both locally and globally.
A full-day event touches on many other issues affecting marketers as well.
IAB also held its Bookmark Awards. Once again, Ogilvy scooped Best Digital Agency. KFC was awarded the much-coveted Brand of the Year. KFC's Ben Shodera received the Best Marketer prize. Altogether, 12 gold pixels were given out to those recognized as modern, cutting-edge marketers in this digital era. Now, NASA's former Deputy Technologist Jim Adams is in South Africa to present a series of workshops aimed at promoting educational programs in science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
In an effort to meet future workforce needs, NASA is holding a series of workshops to encourage young people across the country to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. They believe it is important to prepare students to pursue advanced degrees, thereby helping close the gap between education and critical career fields.
Reaching out into the rural areas, like in the Northern Cape where the Square Kilometre Array will be, or outside of Grahamstown, or even over in certain areas around Durban, to me it's very important that students, especially young girls, learn comfort around technology. And that means having math skills, that means understanding science.
Addressing students at the University of Pretoria, the retired NASA Deputy Technologist says to begin laying this foundation for students as they compete in the 21st century economy, educators and decision makers must continue to increase their understanding of STEM education opportunities.
I'm partnering with the Square Kilometre Array South Africa, which is now named South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, or SAREO. To work with leaders from science communication, science centers, that sort of thing, to develop skills in project management so they can take on more and more diverse projects around South Africa to communicate the importance of science and maths.
With an extensive portfolio of learning activities, NASA has partnered with South African government in order to sharpen student skills in critical thinking, analysis, and software programming.
If they're interested in science and technology and mathematics, or if they're interested in understanding the moon and Mars, I encourage them to reach out to South African organizations that can help them. So, for example, the Square Kilometre Array has bursaries for students that want to continue their studies. There are internships that are available. And eventually, after matric and university, sometimes there are opportunities to come to the United States and study.
NASA workshops hosted by the University of Pretoria brought students from different universities together to discuss outreach programs that use engineering projects as platforms to create opportunities to guide youth into space-related careers.
The space to make an impact is large as an engineer. The kind of impact I would want to make is in the energy field.
I'm definitely feeling excited, primarily because of hearing a couple of the opportunities that South Africa has in link up with the United States.
There is lack of people who inform girls of their abilities.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Intellectual property attorney Maxwell Nezianya is in studio to discuss copyright of images online. Stay with us.
Making it out of the friend zone. new washing machine gives you all your socks back.
With so many good deals at the Tops at Spa Subfest, you'll find any reason to celebrate. Buy a case of Castle Lager Handies for only $189.99. Only at the Tops at Spa Subfest.
Welcome to Media Monitor, the show that analyzes the big news stories that made headlines. We bring you robust discussions on stories that made headlines in the week, where we interact with media analysts to unpack these top stories. Join me every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 Central African Time as I bring you riveting news and analysis.
Stay tuned to Media Monitor every Sunday from 9 a.m.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, with many people looking for employment, Google has launched its job search tool. They say they're not taking work away from online recruiters.
We've introduced a job search feature within Google. Essentially what that means is when you search for jobs on Google, the searches are a little bit more refined and more organized. So what that means is it gives you an interface that allows you to search for specific jobs. So by location, you can filter out information you don't need. So job type, employer, you can convenience of how to get there and where to get to, and it also allows you to save jobs from multiple platforms in one place that you can explore and interrogate more at your own convenience. But it also allows you to get alerts. So what that means is you can save the job search alert, and it will email you daily or weekly, depending on how you want it, on the relevant jobs that you're looking for. We partners with those online platforms. So partners like Job Mails and Curious24 are partners with us because they know the space. They have been doing this for a very long time. So what we've just done is just brought that information just a little bit closer to the front. So usually when you search for jobs, it gives you a bunch of links, and then you kind of decide, okay, where do I want to go find this? What do I want to go do? But what we're doing now is just allowing those jobs to be snapshot for you, and you can go to those sites, those online platforms to finish the process. So we're where you begin, they're where you finish.
Now, Google has also upgraded its image search. This is after Getty Images in Europe filed an official complaint against the search engine for allowing high-resolution versions of copyrighted photos to be available. Joining me to talk about this in studio is Maxwell Nezianya. He is an intellectual property attorney with Okeke Attorneys. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Thank you a lot.
Now, can I go on Google and download just about any image that I find
No,
there?
you cannot. Definitely you cannot. But there are exceptions where you can. If it's for educational or non-profit purposes, you can then do that.
All right. Can I then, if it's for educational purposes, download them and then share them online myself?
No, you can't, unless you're also doing it for criticism purposes. Maybe you're trying to criticize the work or analyze the work, but very short clips of it. But you just can't download them and use them as your own property because they're not.
Why is this?
Because they're works of other people, and their copyright laws also governing and administering that.
Now, you are an intellectual property attorney. What does that mean?
It just means that I try to protect the works of people, artistic works of people. You know, it goes beyond just artistic works of people. Maybe songs, musical programs, computer programs, and all that, and so much more.
All right. So when we talk copyright, when we talk intellectual property, you're saying you're protecting the rights of people. What rights do I have if I'm a creative who uses online spaces to share some of my work?
You have a lot of right if it's reduced in a medium. First of all, because there are things that must be complied with. It must be reduced in a medium, and it must be an original work by you.
When you say I have a lot of rights, do I then go and register my images before I upload them on online spaces, before other people share them on my behalf, or what's the process? What's supposed to happen?
You mustn't register them for them to be yours, but you can do that to cement your rights over those works, and which you're now entitled to some damages if they are infringed upon. But as long as they're created by you, you mustn't register them for them to be your property.
All right, so let's say I see a photo that I like. We see this a lot on social media. For example, when people want to, let's say, share emotion. So there's something you didn't like, you see a photo of a first lady of a country crying, you download it, and then you say, well, this is how I feel about what just happened at a meeting I just had. And you upload a photo of a first lady of a country crying.
If it's for a personal use, not for business, not that you have a domain or website or a blog that you profit from, then it's acceptable, for that purpose, but not beyond that. You cannot use it, for instance, where you're a blogger and you profit from that monetarily. You cannot do that.
If I do that, because I'm still not profiting from it, can then the owner or the person that took the image come back to me and say, remove it?
Yes, of course, but not to you, because there's a medium that you've done that with. Maybe, for instance, YouTube. They can now send some notification, an infringement notification to YouTube, for instance, for that picture or that video or whatever clip to be taken down, and it will be done so.
You've just mentioned YouTube.
Yes,
a lot of people use YouTube to share videos. Who owns those videos? Is it the individual? Is it YouTube itself?
No, it's the individual, not YouTube.
Okay, so if it's the individual, YouTube cannot profit from the video that the individual has uploaded on YouTube?
There are instances where there's a contractual relationship between the individual and YouTube, where YouTube now pays that individual for whatever profit that they generate from that clip or picture.
I suppose there's always that fine print that one doesn't read when they're uploading photographs on online spaces. So let's say I now want to, because you mentioned that there's a difference between personal usage and making a profit. Let's say I am a blogger who gets advertising on my page, and I find these photographs that I like and I want to use. What is the process that I should embark on in order for me to be given permission to use that photo, or can I just use it?
You can't use it. Traditionally, you're expected to seek consent from the owner of the material. Okay? And usually they do grant those concepts. They do, because you're indirectly also promoting their work, giving their work some traffic in the in the World Wide Web. All right, so they usually grant, but people don't do that. They just go on and just use it without a consent, and that's an infringement on the rights of the author of the product.
And there have been cases where you find that photographers see celebrities in public spaces. They then take photos of them. There was one actually big case when a particular celebrity was asked by a photographer just for a little credit on the photograph. Instead, what the celebrity said was that, actually, I will take it down and you must also take it down from your pages. So who owns that photograph? Because the celebrity might feel that it's a photo of me. Yes, I was in a public space. Yes, you took it, but it's a photo of me, so you can't use it.
Yeah, there should be some mutual understanding between the celebrity and the photographer, but ideally, the work belongs to the photographer, not the celebrity.
All right, so the photographer can do as they wish because they took it in a public space?
No, there are limitations in law. You cannot infringe on someone else's right to privacy, dignity. You cannot do that. Those limit the photographer's right to such pictures.
And if you're talking about infringement of rights, but if I, as a photographer, just decide to share it on my Instagram account, for example, am I allowed to do that? I took it, of course.
If it's not derogatory.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's not derogatory, yeah, you can do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Now, that is Maxwell Aze-Iyanya. He is an intellectual property attorney there, telling us about copyright of images and intellectual property of the stuff that we find online and sometimes we use without actually getting any consent. We also caught up with Gareth Moore, and he told us about what his favorite piece of technology actually is.
Hi guys, I'm Gareth Moore. My favorite gadget has to be the iPhone. I am an iPhone junkie. Anything and everything you want to do can be done on an iPhone. Sorry about it.
This is your midday report. Good afternoon.
I will be free.
I assume as President of the Republic of Kenya.
Let's take a look at how African markets and currencies are performing now.
The central bankers say the success of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is just a bubble.
Breaking stories, detailed economy and sport. Tune into Midday Report every Monday to Friday from 12 p.m. Our stories.
How do I begin?
Our lives. When all seems to fail, we will raise our voices a bit louder for our justice.
Well, I went into absolute shock. My whole body was shaky. I couldn't hold a phone, but there he was. I couldn't believe the nonchalant that they were still in the area 2 weeks later.
And in times when the justice system is not able to help us with our individual battles,
I'm willing to do anything. What are you doing? Nothing. Feeling sorry for yourself. No, it's not an option.
These are our stories on Cutting Edge Channel 404.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Autonomous vehicles in the Middle East and more. Here's what's made tech headlines in the rest of the world.
And in Dubai, the Transport Authority tests science fiction-inspired autonomous pods as the Gulf city strives to lead in innovation transportation. The pods were manufactured in Italy by US-based company Next Future Transportation and shipped to Dubai for testing.
The department supported with 1.5 million dirhams from the Future Accelerator programs, and the goal is to develop these two research vehicles through the test that I have mentioned. Will develop the performance of the vehicle.
Al-Awadi said that the pods were only one of the several projects of this kind, with other ones in the pipeline such as self-driving buses. Dubai plans to transform 25% of daily transportation to become self-driving by year 2030. Last year, the Emirates tested a flying taxi, hoping to launch the world's first drone taxi service. Music streaming service Spotify on Wednesday filed for a direct listing of its shares, laying out financial data for the first time that cheered some analysts but led other questions how it could turn a profit from its growing subscriber service. Spotify, which wants to trade as Spot on the New York Stock Exchange, is taking an unusual path to the U.S. public markets. With a direct listing that will let investors and employees sell shares without the company raising new capital or hiring a Wall Street bank or broker to underwrite the offering. An immersive virtual reality experience designed to trigger memories and emotions in people with dementia is helping patients re-engage with relatives and carers. There are over 850,000 people living with some form of dementia in the UK, with that number estimated to rise to 1 million by year 2025. It's a cruel condition that robs people of their memory and makes it difficult for them to communicate with loved ones.
It was born out of frustration, really, in a sense of I wish there had been something around at that time that would have helped me and my family through a difficult period of time. We'd also showed photographs and played music and things like that, but using VR just seemed like a really interesting way to perhaps create a memory or elicit a deeper memory and spark a bigger conversation, if you like.
Breaking through this barrier is the main aim of the Wayback Project. When viewing it through a virtual reality headset, elderly people with dementia are transported back in time, sparking lost memories. The producers realized early in that the smallest detail were crucial for creating an immersive experience for the users.
Samsung has revealed its latest flagship smartphone device, the Galaxy S9. Producer Lebu Sijage attended the Johannesburg launch, which was live-streamed from the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in Spain.
Samsung Electronics unveiled its flagship Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus smartphones last week Sunday. Though resembling its predecessor, the S8 aesthetically, the Galaxy S9's improved camera and artificial intelligence-powered voice tool and social media functions are what make it stand out.
I think it is how we've brought together artificial intelligence, augmented reality, all through the lens of this incredible camera that is on board the Galaxy S9.
Both the phone's 12-megapixel rear camera and dual aperture on the S9 Plus allow for low-light picture taking.
It's using that lens almost like the human eye to interpret the world around you, to add context to that world around you. And that then gives you some incredible opportunities. So whether it's looking in low light conditions, whether we want to take super slow-mo videos or create the very fun AR emojis.
The augmented reality personalized emoji as well as the super slow-mo features seem to be the crowd pullers. Other specifications of the Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus include a 5.8-inch Quad HD display for the S9 and a 6.2-inch Quad HD for the S9 Plus. While the S9 comes with a memory of 4 GB RAM, the S9 Plus comes with 6 GB RAM. The flagship phones were launched at Samsung's Unpacked event held at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain on the 25th of February.
This week, our Twitter poll has been asking you if you know much about copyrights of images that you post on social media pages. Now, only about 12% of respondents say yes. That figure is in last place. The overwhelming majority of people who responded say no. That number is at 54%. 15% say they don't care about the copyrights of these images. I guess they'll be sharing them anyway. And 19% don't seem to know whether they should know this or not. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with a video of a drones lights show in China. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one. Bye-bye.